So today I'm going to be talking about a game that means a lot to me, and if it wasn't for this game, I wouldn't be where I am right now when it comes to gaming as a whole, because this was my introduction to gaming. This was the game that got me into everything that I'm into now. If it wasn't for this game, I wouldn't know what Final Fantasy VII was. If it wasn't for this game, I wouldn't know what God of War was or any other game that I play. This game, if I haven't made it pretty clear of what I'm referring to because of the title on the video and also because of the shirt that I'm wearing right now, which I'm honestly really happy I actually found a shirt like this because I thought it would be impossible to find something like that. The game that I'm referring to is Super Mario World, which was a game that originally came out on the Super Nintendo. And I wasn't alive when this game came out because I believe this game came out 1991, so I was not around that time. It would be pretty awesome to actually be there when this game was first revealed to the public, but I ended up playing this game a little bit later on in my life. I believe I was in elementary school. I was like 6, 7, or 8 years old, and one of the things that I remember doing every time I got home from school was plugging in the Super Nintendo, putting in Super Mario World, and just playing through that entire game. And this was the first game that I've ever beaten, which is pretty awesome because you're always gonna remember the first game that you beat. Like, some people beat like The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess for the first time. I'm just naming games just to give a few examples, or the original God of War, or whatever game it is, because there's a whole bunch of games out there, but you're always gonna remember what your first game was and what the first game you beat was, and this happened to be mine. So obviously there's a lot of memories there. And I would honestly have to say, if it wasn't for like my mom and my aunt and just basically the family having the console in this house and having access to this game, I would not know what Mario is. And I love Mario so much. I mean, it's a big part of my childhood. I still love Mario to this day. That's going to be a common theme of a lot of things I'm talking about. You know, a lot of things from my childhood still remain with me to this day. But I remember I really loved playing Super Mario World whenever I got the chance. And I just love how you get to play as Mario or Luigi, and you get to travel throughout the entire game. You get to ride on Yoshi. That was really fun. My favorite power-up from this game was the cape that you got with Mario, and I always made sure I stocked the two of them, like one that I was wearing and also another one I had, just in case I got hit by an enemy. I can just click that button and the whole cape would fly down, and I would just jump up in the air, and I would become Cape Mario again. I just always loved having access to that ability, and you also really needed it when it came to like discovering secret areas. Like if you wanted to fly up somewhere to like get a key so you can unlock a hidden area that you normally don't have access to if you beat a regular level. I didn't really discover a lot of things until a little bit later after I beat the game, where I was unlocking these areas. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm referring to when it came to like the whole Star World, where you got like the different colored Yoshis. I believe there was like a blue one, a yellow one, a red one. I remember the blue one for sure. Whenever you swallow the shell, it allowed you to fly around the map, which was obviously the one that I chose because I loved flying around in the game. It was really fun. And that game, I would have to say, I could replay over and over and over again. Like, I believe at least like every single year I replay this game from the first world all the way up until the end, until you beat Bowser. And talking about that fight with Bowser, you know, just looking at how that was my first game that I beaten, that was the first boss battle that I ever really had when it came to, you know, gaming as a whole. It was a very memorable experience. I remember you had to travel throughout the castle, you had to go through certain areas. It was a little bit tricky to get through them because it was always a different way to get to Bowser depending on which door you went through. And then once you finally reach Bowser, at first I didn't really know what I was doing. Like, I was trying to jump on Bowser because, you know, that was just a typical thing you did in Mario. You just always jumped on an enemy and then you just got rid of it that way. So I tried doing that at first when I was little because obviously I didn't really know at the time. I was trying to figure out as I was playing the game, and then once I finally figured out what to do, then you start catching on, which is a regular thing of any game nowadays. So I tried jumping on him, and then I ended up losing my power-up. I tried doing it again. I ended up dying. I had to start all the way over from the beginning of the castle and work my way up to see Bowser again, because that's the whole challenge with it. You don't want to just be in front of like the door to bring you to Bowser again. You want to start off from scratch and just work your way up to it again, because it's just, you know, a better feeling that way. It's like, wow, I worked really hard to get to Bowser again. And obviously it's the final battle, so you want to make sure that you're building up to that moment when you eventually encounter the boss again. But then I eventually figured out, as I was playing through the boss battle a little bit longer, he was throwing these Mecha Koopas at you, and you had to jump on them, and you had to like toss them up in the air, and you had to time it. To give you guys like a good idea of what I'm referring to, how the boss battle went, let's say this is Bowser, and obviously this is Mario, which I actually got this at a convention, I believe 2 years ago. Really awesome. You know, it's like a little pixel art. But anyways, getting back to the topic of the video, let's say this is Bowser or this is Mario, and Bowser's going back and forth like this, and eventually Bowser stops. He throws a Mecha Koopa on the ground. You got to use Mario to jump on it, and you got to time it right when he stops, or even if he's like moving around the air and you throw it up in the air, you got to make sure you time it right, as I mentioned, and it hits Bowser in the head. He gets stunned. He goes around, and then a whole bunch of fire comes. You got to make sure you dodge that, otherwise you'll end up losing your life, and you got to start all over again, or you end up losing the ability that you have, and then you end up starting the whole thing again. And then it goes through different phases where like he throws like a cannibal at you, got to jump over it. Then he eventually throws a Mecha Koopas again, got to toss him up there, hit him in the head, and then it's just a rinse and repeat phase. And then you eventually come to where he's like bouncing on the ground over and over again. And then once he stops and you're able to time it exactly right, then you could hit the other Mecha Koopa, you could hit him on the top of the head, and then you could finally take him out. You rescue the princess, and I also forgot to mention this as well, the princess also gives you like mushrooms throughout the battle, so just in case you're like little Mario, where you don't really have the standard Mario look, or you didn't have your ability that you had before, she helps you out throughout the boss battle, so she ends up giving you a mushroom so you can like power up again. And also, just in case you are in the state that you're in now and you don't have like a power up anymore, you at least have an extra mushroom, so just in case you get stunned, you can grow big again and just be Mario. And then after that, you celebrate, she gives you a kiss, and you beat the game. So it was a really fun experience with that game. Like, I love that game so much. I had fun with each and every single level. Like, I can go on and on and on talking about this game, but Super Mario World, you know, just talking about it as a whole, just having the opportunity to actually dedicate a video on my channel, just talking about a game that introduced me to the world of gaming, a game that I love and I hold close to my heart, because whenever somebody asks me, it's like, hey, what's your favorite game? Obviously, people know it's Final Fantasy VII, but if we are pushing that to the side, if it was not for Super Mario World, I wouldn't have gotten into the world of gaming, as I mentioned in this video. And I guess I would honestly have to say that, you know, I hold Final Fantasy VII and Super Mario World at the same level, just because of what they did to me, like how they drew me in and how much those games made me fall in love with them. And I honestly owe a lot to Super Mario World, and I definitely am starting to have the urge, even in the process of making this video, wanting to play it again after I upload it on the channel. And I do have it on my Switch, so I always have access to it, which is, you know, pretty awesome in that part. But Super Mario World, I really wish I was there around the time where it was first released so I can experience the whole build up to it. But I'm really glad that we have access to it in the house. And it's also really nice to see that it meant a lot to the family as well, because my mother played it, my aunt played it, people in the family played the game. So at least you know that like Mario as a whole, especially that game, was a big part of not only my childhood, but also my mother's childhood and my aunt's childhood as well. Like, it's just really cool to just think about that. It wasn't just affecting one person's life where it meant a lot to that person, it was also affecting other people around you as well. And that's why that game meant a lot in the family, especially growing up as kids, playing video games. It was just a really memorable experience. But those are honestly all my thoughts I have to really say about this game. Like, I really wish I can go on more and talking about it, because as you guys clearly saw, I definitely could do that. But I feel like it is time to close off this video, so I'm honestly curious to hear, have you guys ever played Super Mario World? Do you guys have any experiences with that game? or just as a whole, do you guys have any experiences with your first game that you guys want to share with me? Just let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Always, if you guys want to keep up to date with me, if I'm not posting on the channel, make sure to follow me on all my social media accounts located in the description below. My Twitter and my Instagram is right down there in the description. And always make sure to click on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I'm uploading a new video, so you guys don't miss it. Make sure to subscribe as always for more awesome content on the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, thank you guys for the support. I love you guys so much. I'm really having fun making videos on the channel and growing it with you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, peace out.